Hello and hello. Welcome back to the Undisputed Champ YouTube boxing channel. If you like the videos I've already put out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share the videos. And let's get into the video of today. And the new huge congratulations to Oleksandr Usyk. He went out there and he did his job. Coming up from cruiserweight, it's not easy. It's not easy to apply yourself in the heavyweight division, to not only be one of the top heavyweights, just to be an average heavyweight. It's just very hard. You got to put on weight. These heavies can weigh whatever. There's no top limit at heavyweight in boxing. They can come in at 300 pounds if they want to, and you've been restricted to 200 pounds for most of your career. So for Oleksandr Usyk to come up from cruiserweight, to carry his speed, to carry his footwork, his hand speed, to carry power, and to go up to heavyweight and to dominate a heavyweight champion in AJ, it's a tremendous performance. And on the night when I was watching it, all I was saying to myself was, this is legendary stuff. It's legendary stuff. Undisputed at cruiserweight. He's gone up, had 2 fights at heavy. In his third fight, he's fought a unified champion in AJ with 3 belts, and he's just cleaned him up. He's mopped the floor with AJ. Outboxed him, had AJ guessing all fight, had AJ thinking, how do I beat this guy? AJ ran out of ideas, had AJ mentally exhausted. The performance by Usyk was just spectacular, and I was nervous. I was worried that AJ wouldn't be able to keep up with him in the early rounds, but I have to hold my hands up. I got my prediction wrong. I said AJ by late stoppage or possibly points, but I was leaning towards late stoppage because I did think that Usyk would be too much for AJ in the beginning, but I thought AJ would then stamp his foot down and put his authority on the fight and take it to the trenches. But AJ just never did that, and at one point it looked like he might be starting to dominate the center of the ring, but he was just too tired, too exhausted, couldn't land on Usyk, and that's credit to Usyk. Usyk didn't allow AJ to get his foot in the fight. If we start early in the fight, Usyk was in the first round landed 2 left hands on AJ, and AJ was aware. And this is what I say. Everyone was getting on to me when I said in my pre-fight. Well, not everybody, but a few people in the comment section saying, oh, AJ's not chinny. Oh, AJ's not got a suspect chin. Now a cruiserweight has come up and rocked AJ around the ring a few times in the fight. I bet you now agree that AJ does have a bit of a suspect chin. It's not the end of the world, but it just means he has to protect it. Klitschko had a suspect chin, and he had one of the longest unbeaten heavyweight runs in history. So having a suspect chin doesn't discredit a fighter. It just means it's something that you have to protect. And I think it's proven now. AJ has a suspect chin at heavyweight. But yeah, Usyk started the round. He's landed 2 left hands on AJ. AJ's woken up. And then the movement from Usyk was just incessive. Just consistent movement, head movement, leg movement. And I wish fighters would just... I know it's hard to copy someone's style, but I wish someone like Buatsi would just copy that head movement. It was beautiful to see in there from Usyk. AJ throwing his jab, couldn't throw his jab out with any real authority because the head was just moving all over the place. The target just kept on moving. As we get into the middle rounds, Usyk would just continue to do the same thing, moving around the ring, throwing out his jab, throwing out his left hand. It was going outside of AJ's line of vision. It was clipping AJ, and AJ did sort of tried to get back into the fight in the middle rounds. He tried to sort of hold his feet in the middle of the ring, but Usyk just wouldn't stop moving, and it just made it hard for AJ. And AJ just looked clunky. He looked slow. He looked mentally tired. All the thinking and the thought processes that he was doing was just draining all of his energy. And when he got to the late rounds, Usyk took over. He took over the fight completely and just started to piece AJ up in there. He had AJ's eyes swollen up. Usyk did get cut, but he had AJ's eyes swollen up. And he had AJ completely and utterly exhausted. I saw AJ at the end of the fight, and I've been that type of exhausted where you're so tired, you start shaking. You feel like your blood sugar's low. And that's what happened to AJ. He started shaking. It looked like he couldn't even hold himself up. He was up against the ropes trying to dodge Usyk's punches, and he could hardly stand. If there was 10 more seconds in that round or 20 more seconds in that round, AJ probably would have just fainted from exhaustion. And after the end of the fight, AJ had to go and sit on the stool. Couldn't even stand up. Had to go sit straight on the stool. And if they had oxygen, they probably should have given him some oxygen because he was completely and utterly spent. Usyk, just a master performance. And I was saying on the night also, for legends to rise, legends must fall. Usyk was a legend at cruiserweight, and to become a legend at heavyweight, he has to take legends out. AJ's been on a great run, even with the defeat to Ruiz, but he got the rematch and won that. And Usyk has now taken AJ out, and his reign at heavyweight begins. I think Usyk is a consummate professional. In the post-fight interview, he said that he didn't see his wife and his kids. He missed out on 6 months. That is what you call proper dedication to the sport. And it's paid off. Gone without seeing his family, gone without seeing his kids for 6 months. He said he's missed his kids grow up 6 months. But he knew there was an end goal in sight. That end goal was to win the World Heavyweight Championship. That goal was to become a legend. That goal was to start your era as the heavyweight champion. Usyk's going to be tough to beat. He's going to be extremely tough to beat. There's a rematch clause. AJ says that he wants to enact the rematch clause. For AJ to beat Usyk, he has to turn it into a dogfight, and I don't think AJ has it in him. I think those days of AJ being reckless have gone now. The chin is a bit too shaky. I don't think he can trust his chin to go in there and make it a dogfight. And to be honest, I don't really see how he can win the fight. I think the rematch might be a step too far. I could see how he could win the Ruiz rematch, but this rematch, it's just too difficult. If Usyk comes in the way he came in today, I don't think AJ's going to make the necessary adjustments to win that fight. And I would also like to say that I was a bit disappointed AJ didn't hang around and do the post-fight interview in the ring. There's no hiding in the sport, and I do give AJ his props. He doesn't make excuses, and fair enough, but do your post-fight interview in the ring. You lost the fight, talk in the ring. When your opponents lose, they normally hang around in the ring to speak, so you two hang around in the ring and do your post-fight interview. But anyway, masterful performance by Usyk. I hope that looks like they're gonna have the rematch next. I'll be picking Usyk this time. I won't rely on AJ trying to turn things into a dogfight and make things rough and impose himself, because I just don't think he's got it in him to do it. Usyk's just going to mentally exhaust him again, and we didn't see all of Usyk's tricks today, or even yesterday. We didn't see all of them. In my opinion, we only saw half. So if Usyk brings the rest of his bag out, he can adjust, he can switch it, he can do so much. It's going to be a very, very tall task for AJ. Tall task, and in my opinion, it's going to be a bit too tall for him. But on to the next one, and let's see how the beginning of the Usyk era as heavyweight champion goes.